Okay, so we move on to section B. Okay, so section B, task B1, this is to do with spreadsheets. Okay, we will be using Microsoft Excel for these activities. Okay, so over here it says the spreadsheet party contains information on parties. Okay, it has 3 worksheets called costs, details, and chart. Some functions require you to use the different worksheets. Okay, so then it says over here, open the spreadsheet party, open the worksheet costs, and you're supposed to enter these details in the header. Okay, so let's go into our folder. Let's open up party spreadsheet. And let's immediately go into the header and footer. So insert header and footer. If you do not see header and footer, you will see text over here. So when you click on text, inside text, you will find header and footer. Okay, so we click on header and footer over here. And remember, in the header, the top portion is the header. So in the header, we are supposed to type task B1, name, candidate number, and center number. Okay. So remember, right now you are in layout view. Okay, you're in layout view where you can see the pages, the data has been split into multiple pages. The header and footer is visible. So I normally prefer to work with normal view. Okay, this is layout view. I prefer to work with normal view. So I'm going to change my view into normal view. So I'm going to come into the view tab. And you can see right now the normal button isn't available. Okay, so the reason it's not available is because you are inside the header. If you want to get the normal button, you have to come out of the header. So I'm going to click on a cell over here. I have now come out of the header, and now the normal button is available for clicking. So now I click on normal, and now I'm back in normal view. And let me zoom in so I can properly see the data on the screen as well. Okay. Moving on, it says insert a new row at the top of the spreadsheet and enter the heading income from party costs in cell B1. Okay, so I'm supposed to enter a new row at the top of the spreadsheet. Okay, so I keep my cursor right at the top. I right click and I say insert entire row. Okay, so now an entire row has been inserted. Okay, and over here in B1, I'm supposed to say income from party costs. Okay, so let me type that, income from party costs. Okay, it's in B1. Okay. Then it goes on to say merge and center cells B1 to H1. So from B1 all the way up to H1, I have to merge it. I have to make it one cell. So we get the merge and center option in the home tab. Over here, we have merge and center. Okay. Then it goes on to say, use a spreadsheet function to insert an automated date and time in cell A1. Okay, so in cell A1, we are supposed to put a function that would enter an automated date and time. Okay, so let me show you the shortcut key for that. If you press Control semicolon, okay, if you press Control semicolon, you get the date. Okay, Control and semicolon. If you press Control Shift and semicolon, you will also get the time. Okay, so Control semicolon for date, Control Shift semicolon for the time. Okay, once you're done with it, you can press enter to confirm it, to finalize it. Okay, and that's also done. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It says set the formatting of the heading row. So heading row is B1 to H1. Okay, that particular row, it should have a dark shading. Okay, so let's put a dark shading for it, maybe dark gray, something like dark gray. Okay, next it should have a font color of white. So let's change the font color to white. Oh, it did not change. Let's make it white. It should have font enhancement of bold and underline. So Control B, Control U. Bold is Control B, underline is Control U. It should have a row height of 28. So you can manually adjust it from over here. The row height can be adjusted from over here. Or what you can do is you can come to format. You can come to row height. Okay, and you can say I want it to be 28 and say okay. That's another way of doing it. And the next thing it says is it should be vertically center. Okay, it should be vertically center. Okay, so here you get vertically center. Okay, you click on that. Okay, so this is vertical. So they want to be in the middle vertically. Okay, so which is why I selected this option. Okay, right. So we are done with that as well. Now we move on to the next part, where it says task B1B. Okay, Brogan wants you to use spreadsheet tools to analyze the data in the spreadsheet. New customers are given a discount on their party booking. Okay, use one spreadsheet function to display the cost per guest for customer ID So for this particular customer ID, we are supposed to use a function to display the cost per guest. So this is a part where you're going to have to do some thinking on your own. As you can see, this is the customer ID that we are supposed to find the cost per guest for. Okay, now they have not told us how to get these details. All that they have told us is there are multiple worksheets inside your spreadsheet. You have to go through them and figure out how you are going to calculate the cost per guest. Okay, you have to figure it out on your own. Okay. So when you look right here, when you look at the information that they have presented you with, you would notice customer ID is given, type of party is given, the package is given. Okay, and you have to figure out the cost per guest, and we're having 100 guests for this particular customer. There are 100 guests that are going to show up. Okay, if you come into the details worksheet, you can see, let me zoom in so you have a better view. If you come into the details worksheet, you can see if it is standard A, the price per guest is 10. If it is standard B, the price per guest is 25. If it is standard C, the price per guest is 10. So you can, I mean, now you should be able to understand the cost per guest is decided based on the package. So based on the package, the cost per guest will be decided. Okay. So if you are going to be deciding on the answer based on a value and the answers for those values are in a different worksheet or in a different source, we use something called VLOOKUP, vertical lookup. Okay, so lookup basically what it does is it will decide the answer based on a value. So this time the value is going to be the package. Okay, I hope you're able to follow with me. Okay, so let's come over here and let's insert the VLOOKUP function. So we come to insert function. Over here we have function, and we are going to use the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to type VLOOKUP over here. And so VLOOKUP is over here. Let's open it up. And the first question VLOOKUP asks us is, what is your lookup value? What are we checking? Our answer is going to be based on what? So I tell my computer, my lookup value is the package, this one, okay? C3, check the value in C3, okay? Then my computer asks me, okay, where are all your answers kept? Your lookup value and answers, where are they all kept? So I tell my computer, while I'm inside table array, I tell my computer, go to the details worksheet and check from here to here. So if you see what has been typed over here, you can see it says details exclamation mark, which means details worksheet. And then it says A4 to B18, which means from A4 all the way down to B18. Okay, that's where my lookup values and my answers are kept. Okay, now the third question it asks me is something known as column index number. So column index number means in your table array. Now my table array is from here to here now. So in your table array, from the columns that you have selected, what is the number of the column that has the answer? So in this case, if you look, guys, I have selected from A to B. Now I have selected 2 columns. So the first column has my lookup values, and the second column has my answers. Okay, so for column index number, it's going to be 2. Okay, the reason I put 2 is because it's the second column that has the answers, that has the cost per guest. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, and then finally, we have something called range lookup. Okay, so range lookup has 2 values. Either you can put true or you can put false. So when you say true, it means you're looking for values that are somewhat similar to the lookup value. Okay, you're looking for values that are somewhat similar. If you put false over here, it means you're looking for exact matches. Okay, it means you're looking for exact, it has to be exactly equal to standard B, then the computer will take the value next to it. Okay, so in this case, we are looking for exact matches. Okay, we want it to be exactly equal to standard B, then we want a value that is next to it. Okay, so we are looking for exact matches. So over here, we're going to put false. Okay, if my explanation of range lookup was difficult for you to follow up, don't worry. Excel has also explained it for you here at the bottom. So you can go through it and also get a better understanding. Okay. So this is what I have put over here. Okay. This is what I have put over here. Now I want you to keep in mind that this formula, I'm not going to be typing it for every cell. You get it? For every record, I'm not going to be typing it. I'm going to do it only once, and then I'm going to replicate it. I'm going to apply it to all the other cells. So what you need to keep in mind is when you replicate this formula, the lookup value C3 is going to become C4. C4 is going to become C5. C5 is going to become C6. And that's all right. I want that to happen. I want that to happen. I want C3 to become C4 when I replicate it. That's all right. However, when you come into the details, when you come to the table array, where your values are from A4 to B18, you do not want this range to change when you replicate. You do not want it to become A5 to B19, A6 to B20. You do not want that happening, isn't it? Which is why we need to lock this address. We call it absolute cell referencing. So absolute cell referencing means you lock the range. So when you replicate the formula, this address does not change. So how do we do it? We select the entire address. And we press the F4 key. Okay, you have the function keys on your device, right? So from that you press F4. However, if you're using a laptop, most probably F4 might be to increase brightness or increase volume or, put the computer to sleep or something like that. So then you may have to press FN F4. Okay, do check how your device works. Okay, on my laptop, I can just press F4. Okay, on my device, I can just press F4, but certain laptops, the F4 key might have a different function. So you may have to press FN F4. Okay, now column index number, it can be as it is. It's not going to change when you replicate. Range lookup also will not change. You can now go ahead and click on OK. Right. So now you have found the cost per guest. So it is standard B. Check and see, is it 25? Standard B is 25. So it's working. Okay. Now the question paper has not told us to replicate yet. So we're going to keep it as it is. The next question says, over here they haven't told us to replicate. So we'll keep it as it is. It says over here, enter a formula to calculate the cost of party for customer ID. So this is the first customer ID, the cost of the party. Okay. So from here, you can understand there are 25, per guest, it's 25. There are a total of 100 guests. So the cost is going to be, the cost per guest multiplied by the number of guests. Okay. So all formulas in Excel begin with the equal symbol, equal the cost multiplied, you put the star symbol, by the number of guests, and you press enter. Okay, so you get the answer 2,500. Okay, right. The next thing it says total with discount for customer. Okay, so we are supposed to find the total with discount, which is over here. Now, if you come into the details worksheet, you can see if it is a new customer, there is a 10% discount. Okay, if it is a new customer, there is a 10% discount. If it is not a new customer, there is no discount at all. So we are supposed to calculate the total with discount. Okay, so now it gets a little complicated. So we need to first check whether it's a new customer or not. If it is a new customer, we give 10% discount. If it is not a new customer, we charge the normal cost of party price. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself again. So when it comes to calculating the total with discount, we have to first check whether this is a new customer or an existing customer. If it is a new customer, then we have to calculate the total with a 10% discount. Otherwise, we have to just display the regular price. Okay, so we can use something called the if function. Okay, so we come to insert function and we take the if function. Okay, so if function is what is, so the first question of if function is, what are we testing? What is our logical test? Okay, so our logical test is we are checking whether this value is, we are checking whether G3 is equal to yes. Sorry, we are checking if G3 is equal to yes. Okay, if it is true, we are supposed to give a what's the problem over here? So we are checking if G3 is equal to yes. So I forgot to tell you guys, you must put yes inside double quotes so that the computer will consider it as a text. We have to put yes inside double quotes. Okay, so now the computer knows this is a text that we are looking for. So we are telling the computer our logical test is check whether G3 has the word yes. That's why you put it inside double quotes. Then if it is true, if G3 has the word yes, then what do? We are supposed to give a 10% discount on the cost of the party, isn't it? So if it is true, what we will be doing is we have to take the cost of the party, okay, cost of the party minus the cost of the, let's open brackets, minus cost of the party times 10%, isn't it? Okay, so I hope you are able to follow up with this. What I have told is if it is true, if it is a new customer, if it is yes, a new customer, what we do is we take the cost of the party and minus it with 10% of the cost of the party, because we're giving a 10% discount, isn't it? So 10% of the cost of the party. If it is false, if it is false, if it is false means it's not a new customer. So if it is false, we just give the regular price, which is the cost of the party. Okay, so if it is false, I simply say display whatever the value over here was. Okay, so now guys, in terms of this, before I go ahead and click on OK, I hope you have got my structure over here. What I want to remind you here is, instead of typing 10% over here, it's always recommended you refer to the cell address that mentions 10%. You get my point? Because say, for example, later on, if the paper tells you change the discount from 10% to 20%, then you will have to manually come and change it over here. But instead, if you refer to the cell address and you say refer to the value that's in this cell address, can you see? You have told details F4, details worksheet F4 cell. You have referred to a cell address. So later on, if the paper says change the discount to 20%, you just have to come and change it only over here. When you change it over here, automatically, since this formula is connected, this it'll get updated here. Okay, over here, the total with discount will automatically get updated. I hope it makes sense. Okay, which is why it's a good idea, instead of typing 10%, it will be a good idea to refer to this cell. So if the value here changes, automatically the cost worksheet total will also get updated. Hope it makes sense. Okay, right, let's click on OK. So you can see this is a new customer, so a 10% discount has been applied, and this customer is being charged 2,250. I want to remind you one more thing. Let's come back to the formula again. When I pull this down, G3, when I replicate this formula, G3 is going to become G4, G4 is going to become G5, G5 is going to become G6. That's all right. That's perfectly all right. However, F3 is going to become F4, F5. That's also all right. It's going to keep moving down. That's all right. However, this address, details F4, I do not want that address changing. I do not want it to go to the details worksheet F5 because there's no value there. The value is only in details F4. So this particular address, details F4, I want to lock it. Okay, I want to absolute cell reference it. Okay, so what I do is I only select that address, carefully select only details F4 and only F4, don't select the bracket, and you can press the F4 key on your keyboard. So only that particular cell address gets locked. And we say okay. Okay, right. The next thing it talks about is replicate the calculations for all customers. So you can go ahead and replicate it. So we keep it over here, cost per guest. We replicate from the corner over here, pull it down. Then we do the same for cost of party, pull it down. We do the same for total with discount, pull it down. Okay, right. Use one spreadsheet function to calculate the total cost of all parties, including all discounts. Okay, so we are supposed to calculate the total, include. So it's somewhere over here at the bottom we can put. So we can use a function called sum. Okay, so if you come over here in the home tab, we have something called auto sum. Let's click on it. So the computer asks, is the range from H3 to H23? It's not exactly 23, it's up to 22, right? So let me change this address to H22, up to there. And let's press enter. Okay, so this is our total after the, with the discounts. Okay, then it goes on to say use spreadsheet functions to display the number of premium W packages. Okay, so somewhere over here, premium W packages. Shall we keep it over here, or let's make this cell bigger? Okay, and let's keep it over here. Premium W packages. Okay, so number of, so they want to know how many premium W's are over here. So we can use something called count if. Okay, so I keep the cursor over here. I select this cell and I insert the count if function. So I come and search for count if. I take this. So count if basically means what? I first give the range. I want you to count from here to here. Okay, I want you to count from C3 to C22. This is where I want you all to count it. Then the computer asks me, what is our criteria? What are we counting? What are we looking for? So I tell my computer, I'm looking for premium W. Make sure you get your spellings correct. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Premium W. So I tell my computer, go from C3 to C22, looking for premium W. And then tell me how many are there. Okay, so when I click on OK, my computer says there are 4 premium W's from C3 to C22. Okay, right. The next question goes as highest number of guests. So over here, I'm going to display the highest number of guests. Okay, so here we have number of guests. So in this range, I want to know what is the highest value. So we can use something called maximum. Okay, so let me come here and insert the maximum function. So my computer asks me, what is my range? That is not my range. My range is from, let me change the range. My range is going to be from here to here. This is my range. From, what happened? It didn't work out. Let's try again. Let's edit the range. I want my range to be from here to here. Okay, so here it has come from E3, maximum from E3 to E22. And the answer is 250. So the highest value here is 250. Okay. Then it says sort the data into descending order of total with discounted. Descending order of total with discounted. Okay. So let me first select my data. Let me select my data. Okay, this is the sorting that I want to do. I do not want the bottom cells to be, affected. So I first select the part that I want sorted. And then I come to sort and filter. I come to custom sort. And I tell my computer my data has headers. So the moment this is ticked, automatically you can see my heading row. This is row number 2 with custom ID type of party. That is automatically omitted. Okay, let me do that again. I select my data with the headings. Can you see? With the headings I selected. When I come to sort and filter, when I come to filter, sorry, let me undo that. When I come to custom sort, I make sure that this is ticked. So then my computer will not consider the column headings in the sort. Okay, I don't want that moving. Okay, then I come and say sort by. So I want to sort by total with discount. I want it to be from descending order. Okay, so from big to small. So I say from largest to smallest, and I say okay. So now you can see the sorting has been done. Okay, right. With that, we have then finished task B1B as well. Next, we move on to task B1C. Okay, so over here there is some formatting to be done. It says format the cost worksheet so that currency values show the currency symbol, the pound symbol with 2 decimal places. So let's come over here. So where do we have currency values? Cost per guest is a currency value. Let's click on this and let's come over here and say we want it to be with the English United Kingdom currency symbol. Okay, and they said 2 decimal places, right? 2 decimal places. If you want to increase or decrease the decimal places, you can always do it from over here. You can see where my cursor is, right? You can increase and decrease accordingly. Then cost of party is also a currency value. Let's change it. Total with discount is also a currency value. Let's change it. This is also a currency value. Okay, is there anything else that is a currency value? No, that's it. Cell H2, headings total, uses text wrap to use the space efficiently. Okay, H2, which is over here. Okay, this is supposed to be wrap text. Wrap text means inside one cell, it is in multiple lines. Okay, so let's click on wrap text over here. Okay, and let's make this smaller. If yours is not visible, increase the height. Okay, increase the height. You can always pull it up and down to increase the height and make all the text visible. Okay, so do that. As you can see, this is showing hashtag. Hashtag means the width of the cell is not big enough to display the data. So you may want to make it slightly bigger. Okay, perfect. The next thing it says is grid lines are displayed when the spreadsheet is printed. So grid lines have to be displayed when the spreadsheet is printed. So you will come into page layout and you will say grid lines, they should be printed as well. Okay, when printing, the grid lines should be printed. Okay, and the next thing that you need to do is all data should be visible. Okay, so why don't you just select your data? Okay, now for example, you can see type of party. You can see some part is not visible. So make that column slightly bigger. Okay, perfect. Is there anything else that's hidden? No, everything else is visible. Perfect. And then it says save the spreadsheet as task B1. So you can come to file, save as, or you can use the shortcut key F12. Okay, F12 is a shortcut key for save as, and you can save this as task B1. Task B1. Yeah, you go. Okay. So with that, we have now completed task B1. Okay. In the next video, we will be moving on to the remaining activities of spreadsheets. Okay. See you in the next video.